Happy Friday, y'all. Tiffanie Kellogg here, live, meaning that it is another Friday live stream, 11:11 a.m. Eastern, with a fabulous woman entrepreneur living child-free. And today I am joined by Lena Ehrenberg. Welcome, Lena.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here with you. What a lovely introduction.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. And I know some of the people are like anxious to know. So in the promotion of this, we talk about something fun. And so here's the teaser, and we need to just start off with this. So Lena loves gourmet meals, but one of her favorite food comes from a vending machine.
Yeah.
Vending machine. What's better than prime rib? All right, Lena, let's kick it off with a conversation around that favorite food.
Okay. You know those little packages with their triangle shape, and they've got some squishy little sandwiches in there on really squishy bread. I love the squishy triangle tuna fish sandwiches from vending machines.
I know. Of all the things that you could pick to be in the sandwich, tuna fish?
Yeah. I get them from vending machines. I've gotten them from gas station quick marts. I've gotten them for years and years and years, and I'm still here. It's all good.
Have you ever had a bad experience?
Once, only once. And I got enough. I just bit into the corner of it because I don't, I'm not one to go head first into the deep end of the pool. I just don't. So I'll just kind of check it out, sniff it, make sure, because you can't always tell till you take the plastic off of something. But yeah, so I was kind of nibbling and I had a clue and I went, no, we're good. But I mean, in all these years, Tiffanie, just one.
That surprises me. Now, are there sometimes you get them and you don't eat them because you like open them up and you're like, yeah, this is no.
Oh no, I'm saying that is the only time.
Wow.
The only time. And we don't have to discuss how many years I've been doing this because nobody needs to hear that. But I'm going to tell you, it is more than a dozen times throughout the course of my life. But you know what? I just thought of, it just came into my head as I was telling you that. It's kind of like dating.
Oh.
It's kind of like dating, and it's especially kind of like dating online because there's a lot of fear around dating online, and rightfully so, stuff happens, but there's also a lot of fear about eating food out of gas station vending machines. And I promise you all these years, only one bad experience. And that's what it's like with dating. But for some reason, people think that every man online is this and every man online is that, and something bad is going to happen. And it just hurts my heart because there are women who want to be in relationships and they are not letting themselves date because they're so convinced that the majority of men in the dating pool right now are going to cause them harm. And I don't believe that. I do not believe that in my heart.
Yeah, it is such an interesting thing. And I think anytime we deal in absolutes, we're just begging for issues because it's never absolutely awful.
It's never absolutely, but it's also, I don't believe, call me Pollyanna if you want, but I do not believe that even if it was an absolute, that the majority is bad, that the majority is a negative. I truly believe that we were all made good and innocent and wanting to be loving and honorable. I truly believe that. And all of those men are out there in the world looking for you, just like you are looking for them. Yeah. They're there. And there's many, many more of them than, this is going to be my new phrase. In all these years, I have only had one bad tuna sandwich.
So when it's like, 20 years from now, it's like, yes, telling that tuna sandwich story again. Remember when it was the women entrepreneurs living child-free? We're finally, and I love how it works that way, because sometimes people are like I've got my book in my background. Tell me about how the socks happen, because when I'm on stage speaking, I'm wearing my dress and stuff and socks. and Converse because it's gross to walk around on stage in just the socks. Plus, so yeah. But it's one of those things that it happens naturally sometimes. You can't really force those. So I love the fact that we have the tuna fish story was birthed at the Women Entrepreneurs Living Child-Free podcast.
It absolutely was. Thank you. And I am going to credit you in your socks as I take my tuna fish sandwich story out into the world. I really am. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Every time you do an event, people are going to be bringing you tuna fish sandwiches.
Right. I'm going to be the speaker on stage with the tuna fish sandwiches, and you're the speaker on stage in the socks and the Converse. I love that.
All right. So y'all, if you're wondering, because here we are talking about dating, and usually I'm in the business realm, but I'm talking to business owners. I am again speaking to a coach today. However, she does something a little different. So let me give you some of Lena's official introduction. Her evolution began when she was lost in the south of France. It was the first time in her life she realized she had the power to choose how her story would turn out. She did find her way home and eventually joined a coaching program that focused on relationships. And what I love about this is I joke that sometimes I'm a relationship coach. Now, I don't work on romantic relationships, but I work on referral relationships.
Yeah.
And so it will be interesting because I think there's a lot of similarities. I mean, all relationships go through the same thing. Romance just makes it a little bit fun. I don't know what it makes it. It's just a little bit more intense, maybe.
Yeah, intense or spicier, or people might feel like more emotional about it because I think, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of emotions involved in romantic relationships that might not be involved in other kinds of relationships. But here's what I say. Everything in life is a relationship, right? Whether it's with a business partner or whether it's with an employee or a vendor or whether it's with a client. Now, I am someone who I have my list, but my list is a little different from maybe what some people are listening here thinking about a list. I have my 5 key values list. Those are my key values. And then I have taken it to the next step to understand what qualities in a partner might be a really wonderful complement for me and my values, and how can I be a great complement for someone else, my partner, and his values. And I take that with me into my romantic relationships and into my business relationships, because when I sat down and thought about it one day, do I want to have clients with whom I don't communicate well? No. Do I want to have clients who I don't feel respect me and what I do, nor might I respect them and what they do? No. All of the values that are so important to me are not just important in a romantic partner. They are values. All my friends, my relationships with my family. It's all about knowing ourselves and knowing our values and taking ourselves fully and wholly out into every aspect of our lives.
I so love that. And I love the fact, not that you said we need to have the same values, but that we need to find complementary values. I love the fact of, yeah, it doesn't have to be all the same all the time.
Right. It doesn't have to be all the same all the time. It does work so much better when they're complementary. And I think that there's a lot of energy in the world put into trying to get other people to change for you, rather than realizing that maybe this is not a great complementary match for you. But I also think that it's really difficult, not impossible, but it's really difficult to have a really good, full, respectful relationship with someone who has opposing values.
Yeah. And I think this idea of choice, and you know shared, or I shared in her bio, you know, it's about choosing your story, choosing what you want to do. And so I love this idea, and I want to get into a little bit more of something in her bio. So I'm
Sure.
back to the bio, y'all.
Sure.
Yay. So she wanted her relationships to be better, and that wasn't just with, you know, the romantic relationships, the business relationships, even with herself. I love that so much. And so she started off as a general life coach, then earned her certification, and now she helps women figure out who to date so they can stop wasting their time with men who are nice but not forever. All right, so tell me about the women that you work with. How does that process go through? What is it like? And of course, we have to have a tip or two for the ladies out there that are single. Please don't date if you're not single. Seriously, no. So all the single ladies, some
Date your spouse. Date your spouse.
Okay, all right, there you go. All right,
Yeah,
so
and that's super important too, because I think, you know, there were generations of married couples who didn't date. So I think it's amazing when people date their own spouses, just those two. Okay. So you said a couple of things, and so I want to touch on this thing first, because it's going back to the fallacies. It's going back to the stories that we tell ourselves. I think that there are a lot of people who believe that they're not dating because, you know, the whole every man is blah, blah, blah story. I meet so many more women who are in relationships with very nice men who just aren't ultimately their best match. But they're nice and they're kind and they're generous. And this woman likes him and in a way loves him as well. But there might be some other things that they are not able to create as a couple because they're just not the best match for each other. So that's why you know, some people say, oh, you know, so that you don't waste time with the wrong men. No, I don't think there are wrong men, but I think that there are men who could be better for you and you better for someone else to create this dynamic third entity, which is the relationship itself.
Nice. Yeah. It is hard sometimes when it's like, you don't want to get into this. Is there something better out there? But we also don't want to settle. How do you help people navigate that?
Well, a lot of that, there's a difference also about being satisfied in a relationship, right? So if you truly can feel that you are satisfied, that's a good thing. But please don't confuse that with settling. So if you feel that your relationship is rich and enriched and you are giving and receiving from each other and you're both happy and content, that's another word that's misunderstood. Satisfied and content do not mean that you're settling. But it just seems to me that if you feel like something is missing or lacking, that is probably something that you are going to want to understand. And I hope that if you are in a relationship with someone right now and you're listening to this, I do hope that you feel able to talk to that person, to communicate with that person, because there are a lot of people in the world who are out and about and crowdsourcing their lives. That's what I call it. Facebook groups are wonderful. Communities are wonderful. We get a lot of help. We get a lot of support. We can bounce ideas off of people and ask people's opinions. And I'm thinking about this, or have you ever had an experience about this? It is so valid. It's so needed. It's so wonderful. And yet you have to be speaking to your partner and communicating with your partner as well, and not just being in other communities and asking other people what you should be doing.
Because they're not in your relationship and they don't know, or they're not an expert. I laugh all the time. And like, no, expert's advice is different than what somebody told you on Facebook. Seriously.
Yes, absolutely. Because here's the thing, that those people, a lot of them may have had very negative experiences and may have had very injurious experiences for themselves. And they're learning how to now heal and protect themselves. And so what they're going to offer you is a way to protect yourself, right? To be fair, it's lovely that they're doing that for you, but they may be telling you, that's a red flag, you need to get out. And it might be a red flag for them, but not for you and not for your partner. So it's fair. It's really fair for you, for your partner's sake and for the sake of your relationship, to really figure out how to communicate with your partner and not just be asking people, what should I do? And because this is what I know to be true. I specialize in dating. It's what I talk about day in and day out. And I have done a lot of research, and I have coached a lot of people, and I've had my own experiences and my own evolution in dating. And that is all wonderful. And yet I do not consider myself an expert. I can't be an expert in something that is so broad, because that would mean that something, that you would be looking to me to tell you what to do. And that's very different. That's not what coaches do. I help you access your inner knowing. I help you find your inner wisdom, because what I know to be true is that each of you is the expert in your own life. And that's the expertise that we are going to pull out from you so that your relationship can be the best that it can be.
So here's an interesting question, because I love playing devil's advocate, because
yeah,
it's just fun. One time my grandmother was like, you just love to argue. I'm like, no, I don't. That was just, a good summary of my childhood. That's
You're just asking questions. Being devil's advocate is asking questions. That's not arguing.
Right. So if it's innate in me, if I know, why do I need you?
Because you don't know that you know. You don't know that you know. You need me, Tiffanie, not because you don't have your inner wisdom, because your relationships up until now have not led you to the place you want your relationship to be, because you are not dating men who are helping you co-create what you crave. That's why you need me, to help you get to your inner knowing, because she's in there and she might not be speaking loud enough yet for you to hear, or she might be speaking loud enough, and it might be like this. Hey, this is really familiar. Hey, can we think about this? Slow your roll. Let's think about this for a second. Nope. Right? Yeah. So she's in there. She's either whispering and you can't hear her, or she's trying desperately to get your attention and you're ignoring her.
Poor her. Ugh.
Poor her. She's okay. She's just biding her time. She knows. She knows.
And you're just there to help us, make the connection. And I totally get it. I was doing something yesterday and I'm like, figure it out. I'm like, oh, I don't like doing this because of this thing from when I was like 3. This has nothing to do with each other, but sometimes it's just how it works. Our brains are such a miraculous machine. So I do want to, because I know part of what you do is working with people to help you meet your right match. And
Right.
I know that you got an amazing gift for our folks here today. 3 essentials to help you meet your right match. So y'all are going to have access to that. I'm going to put it into the chat. That is Lena's gift for y'all. But can you kind of talk to us a little bit? You don't have to give away the secrets because they're in there. They can go read it, even if you want to give us one, or maybe one that's not in there. But just talk to us a little bit if we're out there, because in the child-free community, I find that there's some people that are single and they don't want a partner, just like they don't want kids, and some like me that are married and chill, and some are in the middle and they're like, I'm not with a partner and I would like to be. So give us a little tip.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to do it. So so in addition to the part of coaching that I just was letting you in on, the pulling out from you, I hope that doesn't sound terrible, but it really is. It's helping you draw out and hear and acknowledge your own knowing. And when we're talking about dating, there are also skills involved. And there are tools that you could use. There are simple steps that you can do. So those are all part of what I offer to you too. There are things that I can teach you that you probably don't know that will make your dating journey so much easier, along with aligning with your own inner wisdom and inner knowledge. So one of the things that I will say for this community that is so important is to really be firm, which I believe you already are, in your values. And one of your values is that you are living a child-free life. So when you start to date, you cannot go out into the world of dating and wait for someone else to tell you who you are or how you be, or does he like me? All of my clients learn from the very beginning that we start with her. Who is she? What are her values? And each of my clients goes out into dating from herself, not going to what someone else is going to feed back to her. So what I want to offer to you all is, if you're using apps, if you're online, even if you're not, but especially in those situations where you're going to kind of start to match with people and then message and start to have conversations, please be sure up front that this person wants the kind of relationship that you want. Maybe you just want to date and have some fun. I'm all about that. Maybe you want to have a committed relationship but not be married. I'm all about that. Maybe you want to be married. I'm all about that too. Whatever kind of relationship you want, I support that. And that he does not want to have children, because that's one of those oppositional values that I mentioned earlier, and people suffer, and there's no reason for that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, because when I went looking for the group I wanted to join that would be similar to Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free, that was not there. Mm-hmm. That's why there's this group now. I found lots of other child-free groups, and one of the biggest things they were talking about is, well, how do I discuss with my partner that I don't want kids? And like, I get from one perspective, especially if you're younger. When my husband and I started dating, I was not like adamant that I didn't want kids. That came during the relationship, so that's a little different. But if you are already like, I am child-free, like, to me, that's like we have this conversation on the first date. Like, I feel like, and I want to ask, because like, one of my things that I want to do for fun is, I've always wanted to go on the dating apps and be like single and flirt and kind of do it and play it. But I've been married for all these years, and I don't, I want to do it like as an experiment and fun. but that would not be fair to the men because it wouldn't be realistic. So I'm not willing to do that. But like, to me, it sounds like that would be a fun little like weekend thing. Let's just message people. But again, I don't want to play with people's feelings, so I don't. But like, if I'm matched with somebody, never done this before, like, do I send them up front, hey, I'm Tiffanie, and I am looking for, I want to date but not get married, and I'm child free, and I'm not moving out of Florida, and you got to speak English, at least some. Like, would I put that like the very first thing, or is that too aggressive?
Yeah, no, actually, that's in most apps, that's all part of either a profile or your opening questions, or that's how you're getting matched to begin with. So definitely, it's always about what kind of relationship do you want? And, that has its own trials and tribulations about people saying, well, I said this and he said this, but now he's saying this. And I'm like, okay, well, either he changed his mind or, he didn't fill it out properly. And to be quite honest, here I go, Pollyanna again, but have you not ever been in some kind of, filling out some kind of form online and just checked the wrong box?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, there are ways that you should go back and confirm that all your answers were correct. But here's another tip that I want to offer. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, not only for the men that you're going to be interacting with, but for yourself and your own peace of mind. Please go into dating with the thought, he's being honest. He's a good person. Maybe he just made a mistake. We all do it. It's like when I drive now and I'm in Southern California, how much time do I spend on the freeway? So how many people cut me off or try to change lanes or do all the things? And literally, Tiffanie, when something like that happens to me, my immediate thought is, oh, I've done that. I've done that.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, we would want others to give us grace of those past mistakes that we made.
Exactly.
But we don't want to give grace to someone else. I mean, especially, when you're 20, it's a little different than when you're 40, than when you're 60, when you're 80, of what you've had in your life. None of us have lived perfect lives. I'm sure all of us have things that we'd be like, ooh, I don't know that anybody needs to know that.
Well, there's a whole generation of people saying, I'm so grateful I was an adolescent before social media.
Yes, so much so. Like, I started dating my husband in 98. I was a sophomore in college. And we did break up once or twice because that's life. But we've been together, married for 20 plus years. And so all of this dating and the internet and updating and relationship status, I'm like, I am so glad that was not part of my life.
And where did you meet? How did you meet? Inquiring minds want to know.
So we actually went to school together, Queens University in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a small little school. And it's interesting because we met freshman year, but we really weren't interacting as much. But I managed the men's basketball team. So I was the manager of the men's basketball team, and him and one other gentleman were in my economics class. And the coach asked if I would help tutor on economics because I was acing the course. And we started hanging out and we started dating. And sometimes it's like, oh, I've never really done the adult dating thing. I think we had been together for like a month before we went out to eat at a restaurant. We were sophomores in college, seriously, like a big deal. We're going to go to McDonald's. So I've never done this adult dating thing. And so from a social scientist kind of perspective, watching, it's just interesting to watch, though. I love my husband very much and lucky.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. You are living a dream, right? There are millions of women who wish that they could have just, boom, been in the relationship and, had it last forever.
Yeah.
And, that's the other thing, though, too. Unless you really do marry the first person you ever date or the second, you're going to have many, many more completions of relationships in your life than continuations, right? So that's another thing to think about as well. That's the majority of us in the world. And you're not doing anything wrong, and nothing has to be fixed, and nothing has to be fixed about you. There's nothing inherently in us that is a problem with dating. It's simply learning tools and learning to listen to yourself. I really believe that, because even like all the women dating the nice guys, something is telling them that there's something that's meant to be different for both of them. And maybe she's not listening because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. But here's what I say about comfort. There's comfort, and something really feels comfortable. And there's familiarity. And if you're doing something because it's familiar, then you really have to notice how you feel in that familiarity, because I'm willing to bet it's not really comfortable.
Wow. There is so much that you shared, so many questions I still want to ask. And y'all, it's Friday. We only have so much time to talk about this. However, Lena just has, she's got this 12-week program actually going on. You want to tell us a little bit about that and where people can find you online, all that good stuff?
Yes, thank you. So I've been coaching for quite a few years, and many of my clients come to me for either 6 months or a year because they really want to explore. A lot of them want to really do a lot of values work for themselves. And we also have the opportunity to talk about other areas of their lives and other relationships. But I'm noticing that a lot of y'all just really want to start dating. So I have compacted and compressed all of the work that I've been teaching for all of these years. And I have now created a 12-week course. So within the span of 12 weeks, you will be out and you will be dating, and you will have all the goodness and all the tools and all the knowledge that you need to be able to go forward into that. And you'll have me there to hold your hand while you do that for 12 weeks. And so you can find me on my website. And I know you have the links, Tiffanie, because it's a lot to spell, but it's lenaehrenberg.com. But I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Have More Love.
I love this so much. Love all the love. And yeah, I think that and here's the thing, if you are happy single, be single.
Yep.
As the child-free people, we are so not going to tell you what is right. And for some people, and just like, it's up to you. Should you want to meet your match? Lena can definitely help you out.
Yeah.
Now, in just a minute, I'm going to ask her, to share that last before we go knowledge nugget. But I do want to remind you, the fourth Wednesday of every month, y'all, we do have our Connectors and Collaborators networking event for women entrepreneurs living child-free. We meet from 2:05 p.m. Eastern till 3:55, wrapping up, but giving you a little bit of time in between should you need it. And so come on out, ladies. For those of you that are women entrepreneurs living child-free, we would love to have you networking with amazing women like me, but more like Lena. All right, Lena. So what is that last tip? What is it that we have to know before you go?
So what I do is I help women figure out who to date, because the problem is not really not knowing where quality men are. The problem is that a lot of you don't really know who you're looking for. And this is how that plays out. I used to find shopping really overwhelming. And I'd walk into a store and I would just be super lost. But I worked with a stylist. And the very first day she laid eyes on me, she said, orange, purple, green, go shopping. And now I walk into a store and I just stand in the front and I scan. And when I see orange, purple, or green, I walk over there and then I decide if it's a style that suits me. When you know who to date, that's how simple and direct it is to not be lost in the ocean of dating apps. Super, super useful.
I love the analogy because that really helps bring it home, and B, what a great pleasure. Because I've recently started working with a fashion person, and shopping is so much easier now because
Yeah.
4/5 of what's out there is not right for me. And it does make life so much easier. That limiting of choices, limiting of options.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's so much more likely that you are going to wind up with the outfit that is perfect for you, and for all of you, with the partner that is perfect for you. I always say there are no perfect people, but there is a person who is perfect for you.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so very much for sharing. I look forward to hearing more of your tuna fish analogy and getting to network with you and our women entrepreneurs living child free. Next week, y'all, we will be back here with another amazing woman as we explore